It's a 15-page report, viewer, that dropped just after midnight last night. NDTV has been bringing you since early this morning. If you've been tuning in, every aspect of what's in this report, we're distilling it because it's mostly of a technical nature. But this preliminary report of the crash that took place at the Ahmedabad airport on the 12th of June, exactly a month ago, is now out. It is a precursor to a more detailed report that will be out later this year. But what it focuses on is that both engines of this Boeing 787 had been shut down. There was a dual engine failure. Both engines had shut down mid-air within seconds of takeoff. At that point where we've frozen that video is when fuel control switches to the two engines of the 787 were cut off. Now, the report by India's Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau into the crash of this Boeing 787 that killed 241 of its 242 on board says the fuel cutoff switches, which control, as it suggests, the flow of fuel to the engines, transitioned from the run position where fuel is flowing towards the engines to the cutoff position where fuel flow actually stops to the engines, one after another. This is what the flight data recorder actually tells the investigators, and it happened within a second of each other. In fact, in the cockpit call recording, the voice recording, which has been available now thanks to the black box, this is what the black box actually looks like. We now know that the probe has narrowed its focus to a conversation between the two pilots, which I need to emphasize at this point has become absolutely key. The cockpit call recording as well, in which one pilot, we don't know which one, we don't know which pilot said this, but in this cockpit voice recording, one of the pilots says, can be heard saying, "Why did you cut off? Why did you cut off?" referring to the fuel control switches. To which the other pilot replies, "I did not." Why did you cut off? I did not. A few seconds of conversation that have become central to this investigation. These are the two brave pilots of Air India Flight 171. There is a great deal of rumor and speculation going around in various parts of the media, especially in the West, about what may have happened. On NDTV, we will only decode the facts, and we are looking at every aspect of this. The report released after midnight on Saturday notes that the ram air turbine, or RAT, and I will explain this clearly to you so that everyone is on board. This is a story that involves us all. The ram air turbine, that's the ram air turbine circled in red over there, is a small emergency device that deploys only when there is a catastrophic loss of power or a total electric failure, which is consistent with dual engine failure. The engines are what provide the electricity on an aircraft. When those fail is when the ram air turbine automatically drops out of the aircraft. It deployed, and we know this now officially, indicating a total loss of power and thrust in this 787. Now, data from the Enhanced Airborne Flight Recorder, or EAFR, commonly known as the black box, revealed that both switches, the fuel control switches, were moved back to the run position. They were on the cutoff position, they were moved back to the run position. This is what the fuel control switches look like. So go through this slowly with me. I'll walk through it very slowly with you. They were on the cutoff position and they were moved back to the run position, which means that something or someone moved it to the cutoff position and it was moved back to the run position to relight the engines. And while engines did show signs of recovery, engine 1 showed signs of recovery, engine 2 could not come back alive, and the aircraft was too low for a full recovery, and that's why it crashed. The aircraft, remember, was airborne for a bare 32 seconds, and the report notes that it traveled only 0.9 nautical miles before crashing into the BJ Medical College hostel very close to the airport. The crash occurred, as we reported, at 1:39 p.m. So this entire emergency in the air lasted a bare few seconds of conversation between the pilots before a mayday call went out. The report also mentions that mayday, 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 3 words were issued by the pilot to the air traffic control before the aircraft went down and hit the ground.